Good afternoon, all of you. So, have you done the assignment of moral policing? Voice, brother. No. Yes, no. What? Yes. How many of you have not done? Not done. Only one. Couple of you. So, should I allow you to sit in the class? Yes. Okay, you do it. Whenever you are finished with it, we will discuss. And if you are not going to do it, we will not discuss. Okay, right. Today we are going to start important chapter again. In fact, this is now we are coming close to, in last 3 chapters, we have discussing in general about ethics, attitude, etc., etc. Now, today we are going to come more close to the ethics from point of view of civil servant. Okay, that is aptitude and foundational values of civil services. That's right. Aptitude and foundational values. Foundational values of civil service. In fact, there are 2 parts. First, we'll see the aptitude. Okay, in short, we will compare with the attitude, and then we'll move on to the foundational. In fact, this chapter will be known for this part. This is the most important aspect for a simple reason. There are different values that we are going to discuss here. What are the values that are required to be observed by the civil servant? Okay, and these values sort of act as a professional ethics for bureaucrat. He is expected to follow these values. Questions can be asked directly on this, as well as in each case study, you need to write down these different values. Okay, so that you have to complement your case study with respect to different values. Okay, now first we'll start with aptitude. Aptitude. यार ये AC चालू कर देना है. रिमोट नहीं ऑपरेट होता है यार, देख लीजिए आप कैसे. हाँ ठीक है. Yes, what is your understanding of aptitude? What do you understand by aptitude? हाँ, पढ़ के आए हो क्या? हाँ बताइए. अच्छा है. Something related with logical reasoning. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar has an aptitude of playing for cricket. Logical reasoning, analytical ability. Ability or capacity. Okay. Yes, anybody else? What is an aptitude? With accuracy. थोड़ा भी inaccurate रहा तो उसका aptitude बेकार है. Reasoning. What else? His IQ level. Okay. So the Albert Einstein is having a good aptitude. Whereas again Sachin Tendulkar, what about his aptitude level then? If you compare with the IQ, he has an aptitude or not? Yes. People can have different aptitude for different things. Okay. So IQ can be a measure of your intellectual capacity, but for the same reason, aptitude can be, okay, it can be an academic, it can be like somebody who has an aptitude for learning the languages, somebody has an aptitude for playing guitar, okay, music, sports, likewise. Okay, so aptitude is not specifically related with one particular thing. Whenever we see about the aptitude, we have to also add something more to it, that aptitude with regard to XYZ. Okay, he has a good aptitude in something. The same person may not be having a very good aptitude in another field. Okay, so yes, anything else? Anything else? Aptitude. Is it an inborn or it can be acquired one? Both. Both. Okay. So which is the part of the DNA which inherited the sort of an aptitude of a person? Anybody from biology? See, we have to differentiate between aptitude, ability, and skills. There are different things. Now let's see that what is this aptitude first. See, when we say that aptitude, okay, it's not a proven one. Today you are not capable of doing something, but because of certain things within you, one can easily make out, okay, this person can do well in XYZ field. So for example, they can take example of Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, now what he is known, it's today we are not talking about his aptitude, but when in class 10, when he was playing cricket, and his friends must have seen him, or teacher must have seen him, parents must have seen him, and they must have commented that he has a good aptitude for the cricket, and he should pursue the career of cricket. Okay. Are you understanding? So at that particular point of time, it was not proven that he is gonna Sachin Tendulkar. But because of certain his skills or whatever you observe some features in him, in order to make a prediction for the future that this person can do well in something. Likewise, somebody is informally singing a song, and then people say that, okay, you can pursue this career and be a professional singer. Okay. So likewise, where we see that this is not a proven one, but on the basis of certain things, we make a prediction for the future that XYZ person can easily develop an ability. Are you understanding? He can easily develop an ability, but what is required in between aptitude and ability is a training. Okay, so ability gives you a chance so that you can develop on a certain set of values, so that you can develop an ability through the method of training. After you develop an ability, now you can able to carry out the task, okay, whatever the thing is, whether it is a playing song, cricket, etc., etc. Once you develop the ability, you go through practicing it over a long period of time. Then you develop the skills. Okay, so this is how it goes. That aptitude is something which is a sort of what we call as a talent, and that talent will help you in acquiring the ability and the skills in future. Okay, so this is only a guarantee. That's why we have the aptitude tests. Aptitude tests are there. When aptitude tests are being conducted, it's not that you are already proven one. Through the aptitude test, they are only trying to test whether you have that, sometimes we call knack for something. Knack, you understand? Interest in a sense of inclination. Okay, whether he has an inherent inclination for it, so that he can be a better player in a particular or a given field. So that's about the aptitude. I hope the point is clear. Okay, it's not a proven one. That's for sure. You have to remember. Okay, there is with respect to in civil services also we will talk about. But in India, most of the times we do not focus on the aptitude because of different situations. Yes, what are the situations why we do not particularly pay attention to an aptitude in India specifically? Log kya kahenge? Yes, that's right. That's the one thing. Okay, even if you can play a guitar well, okay, parents will say you, इससे पेट नहीं भरने वाला, ठीक है? और इससे और मेरी इज्जत भी चली जाएगी. Okay, how will I like come in my peer group, etc. Yesterday's operant conditioning. Okay, operant conditioning. Now you started stereotyping that guitar is जिनको कुछ नहीं आता है, then they start playing it. Okay, these days it is not. It becomes now most sought after soft skill. That's a different thing, but this happens, and therefore in the childhood you develop because of this socialization that it comes in the end. Okay, there's or extracurricular activity. First you should be very good in curricular activities, and then you can think of, say for example, if you are good in painting, again the same thing will happen. Like parents will tell you, okay, this is a leisure activity, you cannot have a profession in painting. And if you develop a sort of an stereotyping or prejudice with respect to a profession of painting. So in your adulthood, when some painting gallery or exhibition is there in city, so you tend to say that, okay, this must be a person who must not have able to do anything in his life, so ended up in being a painter. Okay, this is a sort of stereotyping that happens. But if you hail from a family which have imbibed the values in you, that art is a very important thing in life, and maybe your parents in some other field, they are good in art, so you know the value of art, and likewise you have a favorable attitude towards art. Are you understanding? So one thing is, okay, log kya kahenge? What else? What else? Aptitude. Why don't we recognize the aptitude? Huh? Parents? Okay, pressures. Yes, certainly. Lack of motivation. Lack of opportunity. That's a single most important thing in India. Okay, lack of opportunity, because most of the times we see that even if we have something, we don't get a platform, we don't get an opportunity. So as to, like what I have said is aptitude plus training. Okay, that's why we come across and say that he had a very good talent, but his talent got wasted because he was living in rural hinterland and he never got an opportunity. Okay, so training is an important component in order to give a shape to your aptitude, so as to develop the ability and some skill sets. Okay, apart from that, yes, financial, that is an opportunity. Yes, very good. Educational system in India is rather than intrinsic. Okay, it is more of an instrumental. Okay, so you tend to see what is an utilitarian approach. Okay, in educational system, and there is not much focus upon the extracurricular things. Okay, that's why if you see the modern schools, most of the art singers and etc., they are from the modern schools, because in modern schools at least there is some sort of a thrust on the aptitude. Yes, so in India it's more of a, like we keep on trying, and something clicks, and then we join that particular profession. Okay, a very famous book written on this, like an IAS officer. Okay, so there is a, yes, has anybody has come across this Upamanyu Chattopadhyay's book on an IAS who goes into the rural hinterland and then he faces English August karke book hai. Yes, have you heard of English August? Or movie, it has made into the movie also. Okay, Rahul Bose ki movie hai, English August. Yes, anybody has, yes, you know about it. What is that in book? You have a copy. Okay, you have seen. Yeah, that's a very interesting story of an young boy who happens to clear an IAS exam, and he never ever in his life visited village. He never ever in his life visited district. Okay, born, brought up, studied, done everything in metropolitan city, and then he goes into the district, okay, as an IAS officer. And it's a tale of a person, that how he come across this rural hinterland and what is his predisposition with respect to all those things. So he keeps on telling that I never had an aptitude, but I am a product of Indian society that keep on trying, something will click, and IAS clicked for me. Okay, that is how I become an IAS. But now I am facing a hell lot of problem. There is a lot of trouble with respect to understanding the problems, trouble with respect to understanding the language. It's a very good read, by the way. Okay, so we'll see about what is in this context, that is what is an importance of aptitude and why do we do not give a focus. In comparison with the West, there is a lot of focus on the aptitude. In fact, there is, and that's why there is equal recognition for different profession also, because the aptitude people develop in that particular area, and they become an kind of people who are good in different professions. Okay, so write something about aptitude. First, write the meaning of aptitude. Meaning of aptitude. Meaning of aptitude. So write natural or inherent talent. Natural aptitude is natural or inherent talent. Natural or inherent talent to acquire ability and skills in future. To acquire ability and skills in future by the method of training, so that person can carry out his task, oblique action in a more effective and professional manner. So that a person can carry out a task in a more professional and effective manner. Okay, so the thing, each word is important here. Inherent and natural talent, something which we generally say that God gifted. Okay, he has this a very good knack for something. This talent will help you. It is not a proven capacity. It is not a capacity. Let it be very, very clear. It is not a capacity, but there are certain inherent things within you which will help you in acquiring a particular set of abilities and skill, that too by method of training. Now, what does it mean that some people do not have aptitude and it cannot be acquired? No, that's not the thing. The point is, this different sets of inherent capacity is different from different people. Somebody is having a very good aptitude, then you require a very, very less efforts in order to develop the ability in him. And somebody will be having a very low aptitude, but still he can be developed with the ability and the skill. The only thing is you need to take a lot of efforts. Okay, so different people have different aptitude. When we say that somebody has an aptitude and somebody don't have an aptitude, that's a very loose statement. Okay, that's not a very correct. One can say that he has a very good aptitude, okay, which help him in acquiring the certain knowledge, ability, skills in a very easy manner, and somebody will require to do more. Okay, that's why we have good number of people who read once and they remember a lot. Okay, there are a group of people who have to repeatedly read it, but it does not mean that both can able to reach to the same destination. The only thing is, with less efforts, you can develop an aptitude in a person. Okay, again, in an effective and proficient way, there is always something which will be there with respect to the one who has a higher aptitude. Okay, so that he can develop in a more professional manner. Okay, so इसलिए हर प्रोफेशन का एक एप्टीट्यूड है, एंड देयरफॉर वी ट्राई एंड आइडेंटिफाई दोज पीपल हु ऑलरेडी हैव नैक फॉर इट, एंड देयरफॉर वी वांट टू पिक अप दोज पीपल सो दैट लेस एंड लेस एफर्ट्स इज रिक्वायर्ड टू डेवलप एंड स्किल्स एंड knowledge in him or ability in him. At the same time, not only the efforts is required from the external force, but also there is an inherent inclination so that he also can perform the task more effectively and professionally. So right in the second paragraph, different people have different sets of aptitude. Different people have different levels of aptitude with respect to different things. Now इसमें दो different लिखा हुआ है. Different people have different aptitude. So different aptitude can be, let's say, higher aptitude, middle level, and low aptitude in different fields. So in case of sports, somebody has a very high aptitude, then medium, and then low aptitude. Different fields. Now, if you take the singing here, the same person may not carry the 3-star here. Singing में शायद इसका aptitude होगा. Okay, are you understanding this? Okay, what is the meaning of different people have different aptitude, different levels for different things. So one person has a different aptitude for different things. So you need to identify. So right, and ये केवल understanding के लिए लिखा हुआ है. The point is, everybody has some sort of aptitude for everything, but then he is having a good aptitude for one particular thing, and we need to identify and develop on that particular lines. Then he becomes a professional person. Now, right, in continuation, for example, an individual can have, an individual can have a good aptitude with respect to playing cricket, but it is not necessary that he has good aptitude for singing or playing guitar. Likewise, somebody with good aptitude for singing may not have good aptitude for other thing. Okay, so it means that every person has a certain sets of values. Now, after understanding this, okay, right in the next paragraph, aptitude is not a proven ability of a person. Aptitude is not a proven ability of a person to do something. Aptitude reflects the tendency of person to acquire the ability in future, The one who has high aptitude can acquire the ability. The one who has an high aptitude can acquire ability easily. As compared to the one with low aptitude. In other words, less efforts are required, or in bracket training, less efforts are required to develop certain ability with a person of high aptitude. Less efforts are required to develop certain ability in a person with high aptitude than with the lower aptitude, okay, or low aptitude. Now, it also inherently means that the person with low aptitude can also acquire the ability, but the more efforts is required. Okay, I hope points are clear. Okay, that's the meaning of aptitude. लिखना है तो ये ऐसे लिख लो, UPSC के बारे में लिख सकते हो आप. This is aptitude. This UPSC exam is trying to check your aptitude. Okay, this whole, do not think that this aptitude is only CSAT. Obviously, the CSAT, there are certain things, but the whole prelims, mains, interview, they are trying to check whether you are having that knack so that you can be a good civil servant. Okay, then you will be sent into the Masuri. Okay, that is through method of training. You will have the ability to become a leader. Then you will be posted in certain district. So 20 years, 15 years of your experience, you will become a seasoned IAS ऑफिसर. You'll develop the skills. Okay. तो यहाँ पे जो है यूपीएससी की ट्रेनिंग है, यहाँ पे yes, you have developed the ability, you become a civil servant, and यहाँ पे you will become a skilled, okay, experienced, expert civil servant. Okay, the one who has knowledge after, like say for example, if you are become a diplomat, it is called deft diplomacy. Okay, you become a very well versed in something, become a sort of expertise. एक्सपर्ट ऐसे रहता है कि पहले दिन उसको एक्सपर्ट बोला जाएगा ऑन अ वेरी फर्स्ट डे इज अ एक्सपर्ट इन हिज फील्ड. ओके, देयर हैज टू बी अ सर्टेन प्रूवन ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड. ओके, एक्सपीरियंस, प्रैक्टिस, एक्सपीरियंस. समझ में आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है? ओके, हाउ द थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग हियर. ओके, सो दिस इज बेसिकली द होल एस्पेक्ट through which you have to understand aptitude, ability, and the skills. This goes very complementary to each other, although this is called the something which you have acquired in the past. When we say that somebody is skilled person, it means that today he is a skilled, but he has already acquired things and you have lived with that thing. Ability is today what you can do, and aptitude is what you can do in future. This is a prediction for future. This is about the present, what you can do, and this is about what you have studied in the past. That's why you become a skilled person. Is it fine? Okay, now write the aptitude for civil servants. Aptitude for civil servant or for an administrator. These are some sort of things which are help you to become a good civil servant, effective and professional in your career. So this aptitude can be divided into two parts: physical attributes. Although again it is not that important because here public servant alag type ke physical attributes. It's more about the intellectual attributes. Physical attribute generally it's more about, like say in case of IPS, they generally see the height, okay? But generally this is with respect to height, eyesight, chest expansion. This is again I am telling, this is more related with if you are, this is public service, so any kind of public service, so more related with police, okay, army, paramilitary. तो physical attributes वहाँ पे ज़्यादा important रहेंगे, army, police, paramilitary, etc. etc. Now intellectual attributes is, what are the intellectual attributes? Yes, यहाँ पे वो आ जाएंगे आपके logical reasoning, how you can understand the problem. Say for example, X problem is there, how you are able to comprehend the problem. There can be different dimensions for the problem. So different dimensions of problem you can understand when you can reason out the things. Then can you able to find out there are different alternatives. There cannot be a one single solution. There can be 5 different alternatives to solve the problems. Can you think of 5 different alternatives? Each alternative have certain pros and cons. Can you able to select which one is an ideal in a given situation? Or maybe there is an ideal solution, but in a given situation you have to be pragmatic because there is no resource. So in a given situation, whether you can able to do everything. That is understanding the problem in its totality, understanding different dimensions, finding out different alternatives, etc. So it's more of an intellectual thing. That is analytical ability. Then analytical, logical reasoning, analytical ability, comprehension, reflective thinking, decision making, okay, decision making, यही है वो CSAT वाले आपके जो है, logical reasoning, analytical ability, reading comprehension, data interpretation, okay, decision making. These are all being tested so that whether you are having a minimum knack so that you can understand the problem. Okay, why the CSAT paper is there and 40 question generally you get on the reading comprehension, so that after reading a passage, can you able to comprehend the passage? Okay, can you able to find out what are the problems and what are the answers? So likewise, they will ask you what is the conclusion of passage. Okay, what is the assumption? What is the inference? Or the decision making. They will give you a certain case study and see the decision making. It's not about that, the whole process. Okay, this paper, in fact, ethics is also like to check, okay, that particular knack with respect to the this certain sets of attributes with respect to the decision making. Is that fine? So this is basically the knowledge component, okay, that you possess it or not, that is your intellectual ability. Okay, so that is it about the aptitude part. That's the first part we discussed about the aptitude. Now write the question. Write the question. Aptitude and attitude. Aptitude and attitude are the two different things which influences the success of person or outcome of person. To aptitude and attitude are the two different things which influences success of a person, full stop. Which one of the two do you think is more important in this regard? Give your justification. Give your answer with due justification. Give your opinion or answer with due justification. Due justification. Okay, so write it down. Take 4 or 5 minutes. Those who haven't come yesterday may not knowing what is an attitude now. Okay. अगर वीडियो देखा है तो पता नहीं है. जनरल भी लिखो, ब्यूरोक्रेट से भी लिखो, दोनों लिखो. एक पैराग्राफ जनरल लिखो, एक पैराग्राफ ब्यूरोक्रेट्स. Yes, let's discuss. Are you done? No. We'll start from the last row. Wait. Let everybody write. Yes, you are done? Have you written anything? Okay, we'll start with you. Yes, that's it. बस हो गया. बहुत ज़्यादा brainstorm मत करो, crash हो जाएगा. ठीक है? हाँ, yes, you please. Be loud. हाँ, okay, I'll explain. हाँ. So, yes, he is saying that for bureaucratic point of view, aptitude is more important because anyways, attitude is guided by rules and regulations. That's the one. Second, he is saying aptitude is more or less constant, but we have a different variation in attitude. Somebody is coming from rural area, urban area, so there are different attitudes. इसलिए aptitude important है. Okay. I'll see. Yes, anybody else? Yes, you. आपको हमेशा लास्ट में मौका मिलता है आज.
Rather than one of the two, aptitude and attitude are both important for outcome of success of the person.
Okay.
It stands as a quoted example. The motivational and eloquent nature of his speeches, that is aptitude, made him the leader of the masses. While one, on the other hand, his attitude towards having one world and conquering the world led to one world state. Here, aptitude and attitude are not. Here, aptitude and attitude are not attached. However, aptitude is inherent talent which may give shape to specific aptitude. The aptitude of thinkers generally formulated their attitude, which is their nature. Regarding bureaucracy as a subject, the aptitude of a bureaucrat leads to the success of a candidate. But the nature of the bureaucracy itself furthers the path of the success, which is its.
Okay. ठीक है, fair enough.
It's your attitude, not just your aptitude, that is define your attitude.
Good.
Aptitude and attitude both are important for do something in a particular manner. Aptitude define your capability, that is you can do it. Other side attitude decides your action, whether you will do or not.
Good. Very good.
Attitude define your action. For example, a civil servant has good aptitude of taking decisions for public interest.
Good.
But his attitude is not in public interest. Procrastinate in nature.
Very good.
The final conclusion: without good attitude is meaningless. But we can also say without aptitude, aptitude is must for taking right decision
Okay. So,
in a rational manner.
so what is the final conclusion? Which one of the two? Both are important, okay. But then you have given more focus on the attitude part, okay. You should also should have given the one who with a good attitude but no aptitude, what will be the effect like, okay. Throw some light on that also, and then you can, okay, fair enough answer. That determines your altitude, okay, both of them. What about if you are want to go deep down in the sea? अरे ऐसे ही बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है. Altitude बोला, हाँ, yes, fair enough. मतलब structure of answer was fine. Some more things we can write. Okay, wait. Yes, last. Ah. Attitude is not from birth. Yesterday we have been emphasizing on this. Attitude does develop from the birth. Socialization, okay. Environment, education, and experience, okay. That is. How do you think? Which part is inherent? Okay. Do you think that it's passed through the DNA that he is an army man, therefore he has a good attitude to serve for the country? Now let's take an example. If army man gives birth to a twins, let's put that twins, one in an LOC border, okay, so that he will be with their army people, and the other one in a Chhattisgarh area of tribal society, okay, he will not be even mainstreamed, he will not be educated. Completely he will be put into this thing. Now these are the two. Growing into an adulthood, and at the age of 25, both of them will meet. Would they have the, now as per your identical twins इसलिए लिया था कि ताकि उनका जीनोटाइप भी सेम रहेगा. Oh, come on, what we are talking, you have said inherent quality to work. Okay, that's the situation which is defining, because he lives in an army's life, in a family, therefore he get that sort of socialization, that sacrifice is important, discipline is important, country is important, nation comes first. Okay, those start because he is staying in that family. If he is lost kid and somewhere he is being taken into the US, okay, now he will not think that India is great. So because his situation and environment will impart certain values. ठीक है, हाँ, yes, go ahead. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Given time. अरे ये, हाँ, ठीक है. अब हम ये नहीं बोल रहे कि वो तेंदुलकर वो नहीं हो सकता. यहाँ पे ये चल रहा है कि whether he can do both the things, even in one thing, any kind of a success, what is required. So उसका ये है कि उसके पास aptitude है, he can play a good cricket, but he has no attitude that he should keep on practicing, going, playing matches, playing Ranji, putting in efforts. Aptitude gives you a possibility, potential that you can do well. But it's an attitude which is going to determine in how you are going to use your aptitude in a right direction so as to develop a more set of skills in order to become a successful. Okay, now let's discuss. Anybody, if want to add only new point? Okay, you last one. Last answer, I mean to say. Yes. अरे मिल ही नहीं रहा है क्या आपका? अच्छा, न्यू पॉइंट नहीं है. हाँ. Okay. It's not just emotional, it has a cognitive part also, it has other parts also. ओके, ठीक है. Hmm. ओके, ठीक है. यू हैव पॉइंट्स. थोड़ा सा और अच्छे से ऑर्गेनाइज करना चाहिए, जैसे इन्होंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया था. हाँ, आप बताइए. लास्ट वन. हाँ, लास्ट मतलब लास्ट आंसर. हम्म. 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 Yes, very good. Hmm. Very good. Hmm. 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 Very good. Perform his task in a more effective and efficient manner because he has no capacity. He has a will, but there is weakness on part of him because he don't have the knowledge, he don't have the capacity to do it. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, fine, good. So, in fact, such kind of questions are sort of a trap. Okay, you did not have to get into the trap. Which one of the two ऐसे लिखा है तो which one of the two हाँ which one of सोचता हूँ मैं कौन सा एक ही पिकअप करना है, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. ओके, अब आप ओके नेक्स्ट टाइम आपको पहला चांस दिया जाएगा. ठीक है. सो द पॉइंट हियर इज okay, even if some sort of question like this, do you think that which one of you can easily take a stand that both are things equally important. Okay, now let's see that how the answer can be articulated. See, the first thing is you can define both the things and make a relation between them. Okay, aptitude is a sort of, see, it's again not a proven capacity, but it's a potential which can help in getting certain capacity or ability. Is a talent. So ultimately, aptitude determines whether you will be capable of doing something or not. Okay, whether you will have a capacity or ability to do something or not. But it's the attitude which is going to determine in which direction you are going to use your capacity and ability. You may use your capacity for the wrong reasons. Okay, or for the reason for which you have developed the capacity. Okay, right reasons. That's the function of attitude. So now, say for example, in case of a bureaucrats, or we are saying that if you have got a capacity, authority, etc. Now you may use the capacity in your own personal interest because you have a parochial attitude, that is a self-centric attitude. So you may use the power in your own interest. But if you have a right attitude here, it means that is using the power for the larger public interest. So aptitude gives you a chance. It ensures that you are capable of doing, but it is an attitude which is going to determine in which directions you are going to use your capacity. So this is to give the direction, okay, because direction to your aptitude. Direction to your aptitude, whether you are going, how you are going to use or in which direction, for your self-centered purpose or for the sake of others or public interest. Here I am particularly talking about from civil servants' point of view. It's your value system. Now different examples can be given, like say also it's not just about this. Now there can be a variety of different attitudes. Say you are a police officer, you have a capacity to take a decision in a communal violence cases. You are an IPS officer, you have a good aptitude of, just now we have discussed aptitude of understanding different dimensions of problems. Okay, so why the communal violence have broken up, what is an extremism, etc., etc. You have a rational aptitude also in order to resolve the problem. But you carry an parochial attitude. Parochial attitude, that is stereotype. Okay, yesterday we have seen that you have prejudices in your mind. That's a part of your attitude. So if you have a prejudices, even if you have an aptitude to resolve the problem, you will not going to resolve the problem in the larger public interest or in a rational manner. Your prejudice will in fact overpower the aptitude. So this is how the direction is given to your capacity. So you may end up in taking a counterproductive decision in spite of the fact that you have a good aptitude but have a wrong attitude. Okay, so this is from police point of view I discussed. If you are an IAS officer, you have a capacity to change the things. Okay, but then again you are working for your self-interest, nepotism, crony capitalism, favoritism. Okay, because your attitude is material gain. Okay, self-interest rather than dedication to public service. So service-oriented aptitude nahi hai, but you have this thing. Somebody has, now there can be various things you can articulate here. Every time attitude matters. Somebody has said, okay, laws and regulations will determine the attitude anyways, because you have to follow. No, it's only give you a chance. It's a benchmark. Now, in fact, it is an attitude which is going to determine whether you are going to follow the laws and regulations or not. In fact, in order to follow the rules, rule says that you need to be impartial. Rule says that you need to be objective. Rule says that you should follow the criteria of merit. But what you are going to actually follow is a function of attitude. Are you understanding? So whether you are using these rules and regulations for the public interest or not, in fact, having and implementing the rules and regulation in a right spirit is a function of attitude. Again, apart from, now within a bureaucratic attitude may be whether you are going to follow subjectivity and objectivity. Few people may take the decision as per their whims and fancies, subjective consideration, even when the rules, regulations, code of conducts are written. So it's an attitude. Attitude is, power is given, but my power is not arbitrary power. My power is, okay, guided by the rules and regulations, so I am supposed to follow the rules and regulation. Even in bureaucratic attitude, although we have this tendency that we are seeing the bureaucratic attitude only from the prejudiced way. 10 बार बता रहा हूँ कि rules and regulations are important. Only when you become so rigid, in order to you do not show a flexibility towards the public, it becomes a problem. Otherwise, you have to follow. So it's an attitude, whether you take an arbitrary decision or whether you follow the rules and regulations. Second thing is, when a weaker section of society is there, okay, it's an attitude, whether you are showing an empathy and compassion towards the weaker section of the society. Public service attitude, okay. So this is, you have to see that both aptitude gives you a capacity, but attitude which determines. Somebody has talked about procrastination. Procrastination मतलब वहाँ पे disaster management है और आप decision procrastinate कर रहे हो. That's a part of your attitude. Okay, you have no courage or you have no attitude to take the decision on the spot. That's again, you have a capacity, but you are not doing it. Your attitude is just push up the thing. Procrastination, you understand? What is the procrastination? Delaying the decisions. Okay, so that's how it determines. Now, taking another case. Okay, second paragraph you can write, if a person has a good attitude, but does not have good aptitude. Think of, you want to create a beautiful world, okay, with full of compassion, empathy, brotherhood, and etc. You don't know anything. You don't know constitution. You don't know law. You don't have any capacity. It's a useless. Okay, a beggar standing on a string, he is saying that I want to create a beautiful world. He has no capacity. So mere attitude will also not help you in being successful, because minimum set of things you need in order to channelize your will. So in fact, this gives you a capacity and this provides you the will to do it. There's a function of capacity is reflected in the will in which direction you are going to use it. Now this is from the bureaucratic point of view we have spoken. If the question is simply this way, so you can write a general things also. General things in a sense that think of and profession, engineering profession. Okay, if you are from the software engineer, now you have an aptitude. It means that you have a very good knowledge capacity to manage the things on the cyberspace. Now think of attitude. Okay, you are thinking that mischievous attitude hai. You become a hacker. Okay, you become a hacker and you start like going involved into the cyber crime. Now it's an aptitude which has given you the capacity, but whether you become a hacker and cyber criminal or you use the capacity in the organizational interest. Are you understanding this part? Ethical way, obviously, for the sake of public or for the sake of. So the aptitude is giving you only a chance and a potential, but it's the attitude which is going to help you in which directions you are going to use. Although now people should be thinking about, there are ethical hackers also. Okay, I know. Okay, so hackers may be ethical hacking right here, so that's a different thing altogether. In an illegitimate purpose we are thinking here. Think of the profession of a doctor. Okay, he has an capacity. Let's think of a nephrosurgeon. Nephrosurgeon, you understand? Nephrology, nephrosurgeon, kidneys related. Okay, he is a very skilled surgeon. Okay, the one who can transplant the organs. Okay, we have seen in some other class. Now he is a very, very skilled surgeon, but he is the one who can take the kidney and sell into the market. Okay, can a normal person can take out the kidney and sell into the market? No. Only a doctor can do it because he has an aptitude, but he has no right attitude. Okay, that's attitude will determine whether he will going to perform the surgery for the chronically ill patient to save the life of patient, or whether he is going to amass his property. Okay, there is a Manhattan Project. What is the Manhattan Project related to? Manhattan नाम सुना है? हाँ, अच्छा English movie में दिखाया है. It's a place. What is the Manhattan Code or Manhattan Project famous for? Nuclear weapon. Yes, nuclear weapon का जो code word था वो Manhattan Project कहा जाता है. I'm talking about if you have a nuclear technology, that's in your sort of an capacity, aptitude. That nuclear fusion, नाम सुना है ये कभी? Fusion, okay. Nuclear technology. So nuclear technology, you can use it for creation of nuclear weapon, where you can threaten the international security also, or you can use the nuclear technology for the peaceful use of nuclear energy also. Okay, what is difference is enrichment. Okay, so it's up to you whether you can use it for the destructive purpose or for good purpose. So there can be n number of examples that can be given, and be kind in order to give an example from the diverse field. Okay, but always remember, when the question is asked in paper 4, apart from general examples, you have to also finally give the example from the civil servant's point of view also. Okay, so if the question is directly asking how it is important from the civil service success and effective and for the professional career, then you specifically write about civil services. But if it is this general question, write how in general it is useful, and in the next paragraph write how it is important from point of view of civil servant. Is it fine? Okay. In fact, that takes us to our chapter क्यों लिखा है? Aptitude and foundational values of civil services. Because what kind of an attitude we require, we have seen that attitude is a function of values only. That values that have been imbibed. So here it is talking about only aptitude is not important. You need certain basic foundational values in civil services so as to give a right shape to your knowledge. Okay, that's why we are going to discuss now what are those values which will act as a catalyst or sort of a guidelines so that he can use the capacity for the rightful purpose. One more question लिख लो, एक ही है, just there is a different way of asking the same question what we have done so far. Okay, I think you have asked it yesterday, right? The question. The integrity without knowledge, integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. Whereas knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful, whereas knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. Okay? Same, what do you understand by statement, and explain the things. Can you relate with the question? How can you relate? There's the first part talking about integrity is an attitude, function of an attitude. Here provided that they are taking attitude in a good attitude. Okay, that is a good value system, integrity. Integrity without knowledge is useless and weak. आपको बहुत अच्छा काम करना है लेकिन कुछ भी नहीं आता है. You don't know anything, but you want to like change the world. It's a ठीक है, मतलब it's good, but you really can't do a much substantive difference to the world if you don't have the aptitude. Okay, only will not important. Second is the knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. In fact, second one is more dangerous one, because it's the knowledgeous person who can harm much to the system, any kind of a system. Think of beggar, how much he can harm. Okay, can he a beggar with a corrupt attitude, can he cause a 2G spectrum, coal scam, okay, Colgate scam, this scam, that scam? No, he cannot. Okay, and the one who is a secretary, obviously he can involved in the scam, secretary or the political class. It's not related only with the bureaucrat, so any kind of thing. Okay, so political class which has a capacity. Somebody has rightly pointed out the Hitler also. It's the same, like, okay, he has an capacity and ability to do, but ultimately the attitude was lacking. Okay, attitude, parochial attitude, okay, negative, prejudiced attitude towards the Jews, okay, or self-centric attitude, a non-democratic attitude. Are you understanding? So these are the aspects which has given you a capacity but can be used to the right directions. I hope point is clear now. Okay, so that's the same question. You can try this question otherwise, but it's the same. That's the theme is. In fact, last year, if you have seen the essay, the whole essay is on this one essay, completely on this line. Okay, a similar line was there. And it is for 125 marks. Okay, so you can take in all the fields and can write the essay also, that how much it is attitude, morality, values, etc., etc. These points are important. Understood? So now, yes, you want to ask something? Integrity without knowledge. Yes, can anybody give an example? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, okay, but हाँ ठीक है, और बताइए थोड़ा सा. Those who have not able to like implement anything. Yes, tell me some examples. Can you think of? Yes, person with integrity. Simple, you can take an example that any person, like beggar, take the person who has no holding a power. Think of, he has a good attitude to change, but he don't have any illiterate person who is living. Okay, he has a good attitude, but he don't have knowledge. He is not well versed in the constitution. He is not well versed with the legal things. He is not well versed in the economic things. Okay, he is not able to make larger changes. Okay. Rahul Gandhi, yes, can be. Yes, certainly. In fact, it is being said that attitude, yes, दोनों important है इसमें. Yes. हाँ. नहीं, तो वो इनहेरेंट उसमें आ रहा है कि वो ही इज पोजेसिंग. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप उसी को एनालाइज कर रहे हो. यू आर राइट. आफ्टर दैट व्हाट इट मैटर्स इज दिस, बट एट एनी गिवन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वी आर सीइंग उसके पास है, मतलब मैटर नहीं करता, ऐसा नहीं है. ही हैज नाउ ऑलरेडी गॉन थ्रू द प्रोसेस विच हैज टेस्टिफाइड दैट ही हैज एन एप्टीट्यूड, बट उसको मैटर करेगा वो. दैट्स व्हाट वी आर सेइंग. हाँ. Hmm.
In that case, you need an aptitude for the particular teaching.
Yes.
In that case, can give this example. You don't have an aptitude for it, but you have.
Yes, but this is basically the generalist. Wherever the specialists are required, you have exams like IES, okay, Indian Engineering Services. So this basically through the civil services only general posts are given to you. Okay, managerial and leadership sort of post. Wherever there is a technical post are there, there is a technical qualification that is required, more aptitude is required. यहाँ पे aptitude कौन सा है? ज़्यादा aptitude वो नहीं है knowledge वाला, complete technical knowledge, analytical ability, problem resolving capacity. That's also a part of attitude. That is a leadership के लिए जो coordination, leadership, managerial, वो जो aptitude लग रहा है यहाँ पे वो हम बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? More will be the technical task, more will be the different aptitude is required. यहाँ पे when we taking about the civil services, the technical aspect which is required is only constitution, history, geography and little bit of economics जो आप general studies जिसका नाम रखा हुआ है. It's not a specialist one. Okay, general information plus the understanding of your comprehension, decision making, etc. But if it will be a more technical, so different aptitude is required. Okay? Yes. So let's move on now to the next part. That is foundational values of civil services. क्या USSR किसको? गोरबाचेव को? हाँ, तो इसमें एप्टीट्यूड का क्या रिलेशन है? हाँ, no, not at all. Okay, in fact, Gorbachev was having a far more good aptitude than rest of the other. Okay, there are other reasons. Okay, it cannot be just a one-dimensional. Okay, in fact, he has a good aptitude. In fact, जो दो words use किए जाते हैं, perestroika and glasnost. Okay, perestroika and glasnost. Anybody know Russian? What is this perestroika and glasnost? Glasnost, these are the two policy principles where he was opening. One is about restructuring and second is about the opening, that is the liberty. Okay, because of that, yesterday I have explained कि Stalin ने काफी सारा छिपा के रखा हुआ था. Okay, under the disguise of the socialism, he became a dictator, but there were lot many things which were happening under the guise of socialism. So when the Gorbachev started opening those things, so it collapsed like a house of cards. Okay, Game of Thrones जो भी है, ठीक है? तो there are different issues in that respect. ठीक है? यहाँ पे aptitude आपको specifically determine करना है, और rather than it in an organizational level, it is at an individual level we are talking about. Okay? Yes. Now let's move on to this foundational values of civil services. Foundational values of civil services. Is in foundational values. The word foundational means basic values. Okay, very basic, fundamental, primary values that are required to be possessed by civil servants. Okay, foundational values means, okay, write some one or two lines. Civil servants need to possess. Civil servant need to possess public oriented or public service oriented attitude. Civil servant needs to possess public service oriented attitude. This attitude is shaped by public service oriented values. This attitude is shaped by public service oriented values. Okay. Foundational values of civil service. Foundational values of civil service. Foundational values of civil service are the set of values are the set of values which help civil servants to do their duties, which help civil servant to do their duties in a professional manner, that is in the larger public interest. Now, it's not just about larger public interest. Duties can be free from corruption, transparency, more accountability, etc., etc. In fact, that is what we are going to study in this chapter. So, right, we are going to discuss this chapter in two sets of values. So, right, the first set of values given by the Nolan Committee, okay, and second is by ARC. Nolan Committee. Right, selflessness. 7 values are there: selflessness, honesty, integrity, objectivity, openness, accountability, and leadership. Okay, selflessness, honesty, integrity, objectivity, openness, accountability, and leadership. These are the 7 values. Now take the second set of values, that is given by ARC. Second, what is the ARC? Yes, Administrative Reform Committee. Second recommendation. Administrative Reform Committee. Second. Okay, this was Committee for the Civil Service or Administrative Reforms. They have given sets of reports. One of the reports is called Ethics in Governance. So in that report, they have mentioned some of the sets of values. So write again here, honesty and integrity. Right, impartiality. Objectivity, non-partisanship, and in bracket you can write political neutrality. Impartiality, objectivity, non-partisanship, or political neutrality. Next, you can write openness or transparency. Accountability, And right next is dedication to public service. Dedication to public service. Next, tolerance. Next, empathy. Next, compassion. Next, courage. courage. Okay, so these are some of the values and some other values करके लिखो other. Okay, because these days there is a interpretation of patriotism. So we will see that what is a patriotism, what is the difference in between nationalism, patriotism, chauvinism. Okay, so a lot of debate is going on. So patriotism as a value. Then value of anonymity. एक लिखो. Anonymity. Value of patriotism, anonymity. Anonymous, anonymity. Okay. So these are the different values, sets of values. So bureaucrat is supposed to possess these values. In fact, these all foundational values oblique करके लिखो. These are set of code of ethics. These are set of code of ethics. What is code of ethics? Code of conduct. Arey, huh? Specific rules. Code of ethics are specific rules. These are specific rules. These are value guidelines. These are general guidelines. Specific rules are code of conduct. They are in the form of do's and don'ts. This is in the form of general guidelines. Both code of conduct and code of ethics help in maintaining the ethical behavior of an employee in an organization. Here, code of conduct and code of ethics from point of view of a civil servant, which help them to maintain the ethical behavior of civil servant in a public organization. Now, code of ethics are general guidelines, code of ethics are specific guidelines. Code of conduct generally help you in imbibing those values so that you can follow those values, okay, after imbibing those values. Code of conduct are a sort of deterrence, okay, that you need to follow those values. Okay, these are the specific guidelines. Otherwise, there will be a punishment. But again, we will see in the end that what is the effectivity of code of conduct and code of ethics in India and how far they are effective. Okay. So now we are going to have a discussion on each values one by one. I will first discuss the ARC second recommendation for the simple reason that Nolan Committee's values definitions are very, very narrow. Okay, and why we are still considering? Because the Nolan Committee is historically the first one who came up with the certain sort of values for the public servant. Okay, so it's a very famous committee and values are also very famous. That's why we are going to have definition also. But I do not want you to restrict yourself to the definition of Nolan Committee because they are very restricted definition. Okay, they just discuss the one dimensions of the different values that we have mentioned. So we will have the discussion in length, all possible dimensions that we can think of with respect to these values, and then we can take the definitions. Another thing is like what at the face value, what is the difference in between this Nolan and this ARC? Can you see any difference? The face value. Do not tell me the number 7 and something here. Okay. The number of the values are different in both. Yes. These sets of values, dedication to public service, tolerance, empathy, compassion, etc. These values, in fact, you have to link it with the democratic attitude. Okay. I have been saying that in the Western bureaucracy, the task of bureaucracy is very restricted. Why the task of bureaucracy restricted? Because the society is already developed, okay? And therefore, their people are already aware about the governance, about their rights, about their entitlements. So, there is a tendency of implementation as per the rules and regulations. Okay, completely you have to follow rules and regulations there, because beyond that you need not have to bring your any consideration. But here you cannot follow only merely the rules and regulations, because society is diverse, first of all. Society is developing, second, because since people are illiterate, people are not aware, you have to make them aware. Second, it is a diverse, so therefore there are diverse needs of people. Third is we are developing society, we have a scarce resource and many demands, so you have to listen to them. So therefore, tolerance, empathy, compassion, dedication to public service has been specifically added so as to bring that component, that democratic component also into the civil servant. I hope now you can relate to that bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude. Democratic attitude that you need not follow the organizational strict rules and regulations, but you need to be also like have an attitude that is a public service oriented attitude. So therefore, these are more customized values with respect to specific context of Indian society. Otherwise, if you see the bureaucratic model of the West, that is which is borrowed through the this British rule. Okay, this is superimposed on the underdeveloped or developing society. So in India, the state is developed, whereas the society is underdeveloped. In case of West, first society developed and then the structure of state emerged. Okay, so there is a mismatch in between the state and the public. So therefore, the task of bureaucracy in India is very high. Also, corresponding power is very high. That's why civil service is a very lucrative career in third world countries. Nobody asks bureaucrats in Western societies. Okay, Western bureaucracy का literal meaning क्या है? हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं bureaucrats को? नौकरशाही, नौकर. Okay, do not feel bad about it, but it's a staff. Okay, bureaucracy is a staff. Somebody who takes the decision, you have you have to implement. हाँ क्या है decision? Okay, लेके जाओ ये. You are just a connecting link in between the political representative and public at large. But in third world countries, the news is that you have a lot of power because of the Britishers. Thanks to the Britishers. Okay, if you are going into the civil services, a lot of power you enjoy because in third world countries they have imposed a lot of power and therefore the task of bureaucracy is very high. That's why we live IIT, IIM, doctor, engineer, lawyer and everything, and we jump into the civil service preparation. It's one of the most lucrative career, okay, provided that you involve into the all illegal activities. Okay? So the responsibility is very high. What I'm trying to say is the responsibility, that great power comes with great responsibility. Okay, so, Spider-Man, yes. So that's the thing, that there is a lot of power in bureaucracy. It means that there is a lot of responsibility on the shoulder of Indian bureaucracy. So therefore, they need to follow all these values. Okay, so let's start with the first, that is honesty and integrity. Okay, so right first, that is a honesty and integrity. See, what is important in this chapter is you need to have a accurate meaning of each one of them. Okay, all are interrelated. Still, you need to understand the subtle differences and the exact meaning of it. Okay, and then obviously the application of these principles in the civil service life. Okay. So that means I'm asking, what is the difference, if at all, or what is the similarity between the honesty and integrity? Yes, what is the honesty and what is integrity? What is your understanding? Beyond honesty. So what is that beyond? We are interested in knowing what is that beyond. That is integrity. Okay, something more? Yes? Good, very good, I would say that. At least you know the concept. How does that different? He's saying that maintaining honesty is honesty. Maintaining the honesty continuously is integrity. भावनाएं पहुंच गई लेकिन केवल मुझे पता चला, बाकी को समझे नहीं. Yes. Yes, very good. See, the thing is, Yes. See, the thing is, honesty in a given situation, whether you are being truthful or not, in a given situation. Okay. Now, it's quite possible that we see that Indians are hypocrites. Okay. ये जनरल नहीं है, ये एक बार ऐसे भी आ चुका है 3 साल पहले। इंग्लिश का एक पेपर रहता है स्पेशल, इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी वाला है कि, तो उसमें ऐसे ही था, इंडियंस आर हिपोक्रेट्स, राइट, एंड 200 वर्ड्स ऐसे ऑन इट. So the point here is the honesty is a value or a virtue so long as it is a matter of convenience. But when it comes to a difficult circumstances and when there is a change in situation, then we generally tend to dilute the principle of honesty and do something what is required in a given situation, and then we justify why we have done something because a situation was calling for, therefore I have diluted some principle. It can be honest, it can be any moral value you can think of. Okay, say for example, I'll give you an example. You are in an examination hall. Okay, so one person is sitting in front of you and you are in the corner. Here you have seen that person is doing the cheating. Okay. Now in this case, what should be your response? I am giving you the options also. Okay. The option is ignore it because you think that it is a role of examiner. Okay, or invigilator, जो भी है. Ignore it because it does not bother you at all. Okay, in any case. There is a difference in between two. समझ में आ रहा है? यहाँ पे you are thinking it's not your duty, it's a duty of examiner. Here you are ignoring because you are thinking, okay, let him cheat. Okay. Third thing, you are making a complaint to the invigilator. And fourth thing, you are just making some gesture करके ऐसे अरे ये ऐसे क्या कर रहे हो types में. Okay, certain communication, gesture and communication, so as ask him not to cheat. Okay, these are the 4 options. First is ignore because it is a duty of examiner. Second is ignore because it does not bother you, that is remain silent. Okay, let me put here, you make a complaint, proactive, go and complain this person is cheating, what the hell you are doing as an invigilator, as the competitive examination. And fourth is do the gesture. Okay, let's have a poll. How many of you for first? Okay, it's not your duty. Let's take an exam. हाँ यही अब इतना ही. हाँ. Second, it does not bother you at all. हाँ ठीक है. बहुत पढ़ाई करते हो लग रहा है आप लोग. ठीक है. Third is complain. Ruthless people. ठीक है. Gesture. Okay. हाँ सिटी भी बजा डालोगे, बोलोगे विसल ब्लोइंग कर दिया हमने. हाँ. ठीक है. So whatever the thing is, now let's come to here complain. Okay, which seems to be a very very honest decision. Think of that person happens to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. Huh? Think is your sibling, twins. Think of. So here comes the integrity. Okay, समझाने का बात है. कर भी सकते हो आप, कंप्लेन नहीं भी कर सकते हो. अब हर एक की मोरालिटी अपने आप के ऊपर डिपेंड है. द पॉइंट ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी ब्रिंगिंग इज, if you are taking cheating is wrong, then it is wrong in all the circumstances, no matter whatever the consequences are. Be it your brother, be it your sister, be it your the other beloved ones. Okay, so the integrity is following the values consistently in all the circumstances, no matter whatever the consequences are. इसको मैं और भी थोड़ा सा spicy बना सकता था. Like maybe he is an XYZ person who is your friend. Who is your friend who has always helped throughout your life in your thick and thin. You have faced crisis in your life and he always stood strong for you. He is very intelligent person also. He has always secured the first rank in school and this is his graduation level last examination. prior to exam, for 7 days, he falls sick, suffering from typhoid. Okay. Otherwise, he is a very good fellow. His aptitude भी उसका बहुत अच्छा है, attitude भी उसका अच्छा है, उसके आपके साथ solidarity भी है, and there is a reason that he has fallen sick. इतना करने के बाद, now this is happening, how will you react? No, sir, I'm trying to say that circumstances will also make you think, okay? You may be यहाँ पे बोलोगे कि एक बार थोड़ा सा gesture करूँगा या वो करूँगा, whatever the thing is. Those who will be following the values, those will be the integrity, okay? So it's not the situation. In the situation also you follow the consistently value. That's one aspect of integrity. Second aspect of integrity is there are 3 components: that what we think, what we speak, and what we do. I'll make you write, okay? Just put in attention. Thinking component, speech component, and action component, okay? That is what we do. A man of integrity is one who has a coherence with respect to 3 things. In a sense that what he thinks, he speak, and he do. Okay, in a sense that there is no double standard. There is no double standard. There is a coherence in between his thinking and his speech and action. That is walk the talk. Walk the talk, समझते हो? या फिर you can say that a particular person, there is no gap in between what he has in his mind and what is he display in his action. Okay, a man of integrity will express what he holds in his mind. Okay, there will not be duplication or double standard or hypocrisy. Hypocrisy, like we preach a lot but we follow less. The one who is a man of integrity is there is a coherence between what he preach and what he practice. Okay, the one who preach, he also practice, so he is called as man of integrity, because there is no gap in between what he think, what he speak, and what he do. Okay. So there are 2 components. So the most important word with respect to integrity is consistency. And this consistency is at individual level and consistency with respect to different circumstances. Consistency within oneself means your thinking component and speech and your action component, there is a consistency and coherence. And there is a consistency with respect to following values in all the circumstances on a time scale, even if it may happen that in certain circumstances it may invite you sort of a disadvantage also. So even in that case, you are following the integrity. Taking an example of corruption, okay, a man of integrity, most of people are honest in India so long as they are not offered with the bribe. Okay, there is no offering of bribe. But so they claim that we are a man of honesty and integrity, etc. But the real man of integrity is one when the bribe is offered and he do not take it. Okay, so it's not just a lack of opportunity, but also even if the opportunity is being given, he will not take it, because the honesty is uncompromising value for him in all the situation. So he is not just an uncorrupt person, but he is uncorruptible. समझ में आता है इसका मीनिंग क्या है? He is not just uncorrupt, but he is uncorruptible. Cannot be even, yes, forced into taking corruption. That's why generally those who are people of honesty, they are called man of impeccable integrity. Impeccable integrity means, okay, any kind of fear, force, any telephone call will not compromise his values. Ashok Khemka, okay. Now he will accept the transfer, but he will not compromise with his public service principles. Okay, Sanju Chaturvedi, पता है? हाँ, Indian Forest Service officer recently got his Raman Magsaysay award also. Okay, so there are man of integrity, man of impeccable integrity, that in all the circumstances they follow the moral values. Have you understood? So complain this. नहीं ये आप कुछ भी करो. What I was trying to say is, when the situation changes, are you going to complain in all the circumstances? So if you are making a complaint when it was a strange, you complained. When it was enemy, you are in fact all the more complain. हाँ फिर तो और थिंक ऑफ दैट पर्सन इन योर लाइफ हु हैज बीन अ पेन इन योर नोज. सो पहले तो देखो कि चीटिंग कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है अपना छोड़ के, ठीक है. So the values here becomes a contextual. The person of integrity is whether he is your brother, sister, any other person, you will complain. Okay, there is no change in your values. So that's the thing. Yes, somebody was. Yes. No. I am not saying any kind of value that you are holding in different circumstances, whether you are holding the same value or not. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल जेस्चर है तो जेस्चर ही रख रहे हो क्योंकि आपने ये किया है कि चीटिंग इज समवॉट इतना ज़्यादा मतलब हॉरेंडस क्राइम नहीं है, थोड़ा सा जेस्चर से करेक्ट हो सकता है, देखता हूँ मैं ट्राई करके. लेकिन वो एनिमी है तब भी आप जेस्चर चलोगे. एनिमी है तो तुरंत आप बोलोगे नो चीटिंग इज रॉन्ग, हाउ कैन ही गो फॉर चीटिंग. सो डिफरेंट सर्कमस्टेंसेस यू आर चेंजिंग एंड निगोशिएटिंग विथ योर वैल्यूज. अ मैन ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी इज वन हु कीप्स द सेम वैल्यू इन ऑल द सिचुएशन. ओके. अरे ये हाँ बताइए, ये पॉइंट नहीं था, ये केवल एक सिचुएशन दिखाई. आर यू गोइंग टू फॉलो द सेम मॉरल वैल्यूज इन ऑल द सिचुएशन? ओके. थिंक ऑफ अ सबऑर्डिनेट person working in your office who happen to be your relative and he is involved in the scam, and think of any other person who have been complaining against you to your senior fellow always and now involved in the scam. Okay, so himself so ठीक है, does not bother, but he is not a man of integrity in a sense that when it is a self-centric for a purpose. Like say for example, this is a competitive examination. The value of merit is also coming into picture here. Okay, so when you are remaining silent, it's not just the honesty with respect to you. The ultimately your merit, larger part of merit, what you are saying is like competitive examination hai. So not only you are honest, but somewhere, like say for example, if some wrongdoing is happening and you are silent about it, okay, it is as good as a crime, because you are not able to prevent a particular thing from happening which is having a larger impact. आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस वन थिंग, दैट इज अ पर्सनल लाइफ एंड पब्लिक लाइफ में काफ़ी सारा डिफरेंस हो सकता है. इफ एनी एक्ट विच इज़ इनकॉन्सिक्वेंशियल फॉर एनी अदर पर्सन's लाइफ, then he or she can hold that particular task. But as long as it is affecting the others' rights, okay, hampering the others' right, यहाँ पे एक cheating कर रहा है मतलब somewhere he is compromising the merit of other person also. So you have certain responsibility. ये छोड़ दो, ये इसलिए नहीं बताया गया था. Simple thing is follow the values in all circumstances. That is integrity. That's the thing. Okay, so write something about honesty and integrity. हाँ, पॉजिटिव नहीं है जो भी आप वैल्यू होल्ड कर रहे हो, लेकिन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू वही आएगा. इथिक्स विल बी जज्ड ऑन द अदर्स वैल्यू ऑल्सो. ठीक है, तो वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. तो उसके लिए मॉरल वैल्यू, डूइंग अ रॉन्ग इज अ वैल्यू फॉर हिम विच विल बी जज्ड बाय अदर्स. He will not be considered at his individual point of view. He is thinking that I am a terrorist, I am carrying out a bomb, I am a man of integrity following the religious values intensely. Yes, he is a man of integrity because his integrity with respect to the jihad, consistently following it. But the point is, the whole ethics will not be seen from point of view of individual person. ये पहले भी मैंने बताया था आपको morality में. Are you understanding? So whole subject is relative. This is not an science. पहले दिन से तो वही बोल रहे. It's not about facts and it is not a science. It is ethics which is based upon the values. एक question लिया था. Some people think that values are constant. Some people think that values keep on changing. So obviously relatively हमें देखना है. ठीक है. So write honesty and integrity. Honesty is being truthful. Honesty is being truthful in one's action. Being truthful in one's action. In other words, there is no, okay, negatively putting it, there is no fraud, deception, lie. There is no fraud, deception. There is no fraud, there is no deception, there is no lying. Lie नहीं है, deception नहीं है, fraud नहीं है, और holding the values of truth. Deception means धोखा. Okay. हाँ, कहीं पे भी हो सकता है, ठीक है. That's also dishonesty. अब राइट क्या बता रहा था, हाँ चलो ठीक है. That's honesty. Now write the integrity. Integrity. Upholding the values, वो नहीं बता रहा था. Honesty is something just that a given situation or in your action you are upholding the value of truth and there is no lie. मतलब एक ही वे है. अब integrity, how it takes the honesty beyond. So first write, first general point लिखो. Integrity involves following the moral values, consistently, in all the circumstances. Following the moral values consistently in all the circumstances. Next line में लिखो. Integrity is also defined at personal level as coherence means synchronization. Okay, coherence between what we think, what we speak, and what we do. That is, there is no gap. There is no gap between thinking, speech, and action component of person. That means there is no gap between thinking, speech, and action component. Okay, so what one thinks he follows. That's a simple thing. Okay, what we preach we follow. ऐसे करके लिख लो. तीसरा लाइन में ऐसे कोट अनकोट में आपको समझ में आएगा. Integrity is what one preach, that one practice. It's about integrity. अरे एक कैच फ्रेज में भी समझने की वाली बातें रहती है. कैच फ्रेज समझ रहे हैं, कोट अनकोट करके. What we believe in, what we preach. What we believe in, what we preach, that we follow, that we practice. So it means that there is no gap in between your thinking component and your following. Following means it can be expressed in the form of speech or behavior. Okay. अभी रुक जाओ आप, हम आएंगे अभी उसके ऊपर भी. ठीक है. So write again in the next paragraph, that is, integrity is the most important value. Integrity is the most important value from point of view of civil servant as integrity binds civil servant, with respect to rest of the values. Integrity binds civil servant with rest of the civil service values or professional values. That he has to follow all these 9-10 sets of values in all the circumstances as long as he becomes a part of civil services, okay, or part of profession and organization. That's why it's a master of all values. A man of integrity, it means that it's already conveyed that he is already following all those professional values, okay. Now again और एक word लिखो, integrity get reflected in an action wherein civil servant is not only an uncorrupt, wherein civil servant is not only uncorrupt, but he remains uncorruptible. Okay, ये word use कर सकते हो कहीं भी. Uncorruptible means yes, okay, not with the fear or favor. Okay, fear or favor, there are two ways. One is by inducement and second is by intimidation. Inducement means lollipop, carrot and stick. Okay, inducement means थोड़ा सा ये ले लो गिफ्ट पैसे वगैरह ले लो bribe ले लो ये वो and then do our job, illegitimate activities. और एक टेलीफोन आ जाएगा यादव जी का, ओके, देखिए काम करिए नहीं तो आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे में भेज दिया जाएगा आपको, वहाँ पे फिर जो हाँ कॉपर की जो वो रहेगी उसको थोड़ा सा साफ करते बैठो, ठीक है. अगर आप सोशल जस्टिस डिपार्टमेंट में हो तो सोशल जस्टिस डिपार्टमेंट में से आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे में आपको भेज दिया जाता है, ठीक है. दैट्स अ पनिशमेंट ट्रांसफर. Punishment transfer. So punishment in a sense that punishment is not that you are dishonest. Punishment because you are honest. Yesterday we have seen that. That's why how the many times we see that people with high aspirations when join the system, they also sing the song with respect to the system. It's because there also there is a value reorientation, because honesty, when it is not rewarded, people make compromise and people say that this is a part of system. Okay, there is a very famous person called Lord Acton, once quoted, okay, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay, कि एक बार उस चेयर पे चले जाते हैं तो फिर गड़बड़ हो जाती है. Okay, as long as you are not holding the chair, you have all the values of the world, uncorrupt, accountability, transparency, honesty, integrity. बैठने के बाद rules and regulations are very hard, it's a very complex, okay. Politician will not let me do. No, they will not let you do नहीं है. You have a lack of courage. You are a timid person who cannot follow the principles and values. Okay, in fact, there's a sheer lack of integrity on the part of individual who makes the leading into the compromises. So uncorruptible means you have a very high moral quotient where you do not get influenced, whether it is by the fear or by favor, by intimidation or by inducement, by carrot or by stick, as long as you know that you are procedurally and legally and constitutionally correct. Okay? So value of integrity is a very big value. अब क्या बताऊँ, मतलब emotions भी इन्वॉल्व होने चाहिए, क्योंकि ethics सिखा रहे हो तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको लाइफ लॉन्ग सोचना चाहिए कि कुछ करने के पहले. Yes, right now. हाँ, आपका पॉइंट है, अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है इंटीग्रिटी. हाँ डाइल्यूट क्या है? इंटीग्रिटी आइदर यू possess और यू डोंट possess. डाइल्यूट मतलब थोड़ा कम इंटीग्रिटी कैसे रहेगा? आप चोरी कर रहे हो. See, the thing is whether you take a single penny or you take 1 crore rupees. It's the same integrity. Dilute नहीं करना है. Okay, things will be more clear. अभी लिखिए आप. Okay. Now this is just a very, in different books you will come across this classification, although I don't feel this is a very rational classification of integrity. But since you will come across, we should know about it. Okay, there are 3 different types of integrity. There cannot be 3, there can be 100 different types. That's as simple as that. 3 different types of integrity. 3 different types of integrity. Okay, three different types of integrity. Here, the first is moral integrity. Moral integrity. Moral integrity. Moral integrity is integrity with respect to following the moral values in all the circumstances. As simple as that, so right? This involves integrity with respect to following moral values, integrity with respect to following moral values in all the circumstances. Okay, a simple principle of morality is the criteria which you take to judge the others. Same criteria should be applied to judge oneself. Okay, for example, the criteria that you involve to judge others, any moral criteria, ethical criteria you apply, that same criteria you should apply to your own self also. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Moral thing. Okay, criterias, जैसे ये cheating वाला criteria था. If you are applying the same criteria, apply that same criteria to everybody else. So right and wrong determine करने के हिसाब से, whatever the criteria that you are involving, be consistent with respect to that. That's a moral integrity. Second, you can write the intellectual integrity. Intellectual integrity. Second is intellectual integrity. Intellectual integrity, say first let's understand what is not intellectual integrity. Intellectual integrity is something is related with your cognitive part, so it reflects in your opinion or any kind of cognitive thing. Now, if you are not true to what opinion you hold, it is a lack of intellectual integrity. One example of lack of intellectual integrity is plagiarism. Plagiarism, you understand? What is a plagiarism? Copy pasting. Say for example, you are publishing book, okay, and then you are copywriting it. Now what you are doing, essentially you have copy pasted somebody's ideas and etc. without giving a due credit, and you have just published it under your name. This is a lack of intellectual integrity because you are not honest with respect to your viewpoints and opinions. Have you understood this? Not being truthful with respect to one's opinions is, or being truthful to one's opinions is intellectual integrity. But if you are taking copy pasting without any giving and due respect or anything, so that's a lack of intellectual integrity. So right, intellectual integrity. This involves being truthful to. This involves being truthful with respect to one's opinions and viewpoints. Being truthful with respect to one's opinions and viewpoints. Opinions and viewpoints. Okay, so this is something that intellectually, and again, one thing will be common that consistently you are following also. Otherwise, people have this habit of like telling 10 different things to 10 different people at 10 different point of time. Okay, हाँ ये भी सही है, diplomats रहते हैं, मतलब not sort of a diplomat we are talking about. Okay, with a very prejudiced way we are using the word that, okay, gallery देख के वो play करते हैं, ठीक है? So they say something else. Here politicians generally we say that lack of intellectual integrity, where we see again not all politicians we are talking about, but generally when they talk in 10 different ways and without they themselves believe in something, that is a lack of intellectual integrity. Now write the last one. In fact, you can like remember that example of plagiarism because there will be a case study, so you can write in that particular thing. This is a case of intellectual integrity. Plagiarism is a lack of, okay, this is not an example of maintaining the intellectual integrity. This is a lack of. प्लेजरिज्म की स्पेलिंग क्या है? PLA, एक बार देख लो. प्लेजरिज्म इज अ कॉपी पेस्टिंग. ओके, इतनी सिंपल स्पेलिंग नहीं है उसकी. ओके, GIA ओके, ठीक है. Plagiarism is like copy pasting. Okay, so copywriting somebody's and then projecting it as your own. This is the intellectual resource of someone stealing it and projecting it as your own. So that's a lack of intellectual integrity. Okay. The last one, that is organizational integrity, right? Organizational integrity. Organizational integrity. Now, organizational integrity, the word seems to be a misnomer also if you have believed that integrity is at individual level. Here, the simple thing is, once you become a part of certain organization and profession, so what that organization and profession is holding, that becomes your value. Okay, so you become a one certain sort of profession and organization. As an employee, you are expected to follow those values. I think that should answer your question. Lawyer wala jo bol rahe the. If you are a defense lawyer, once you are a part of organization and profession, that becomes your value. समझ में आ रहा है? Okay, let's. हाँ, तो वही मॉरल और इथिक्स का हमने डिस्कस किया था ना कि डिफेंस लॉयर आप एक बार हो, मैंने समझाया था आपको कि मॉरल लेवल के ऊपर आप बोल रहे हो कि आई विल नॉट हेल्प एनी एंटी सोशल पर्सन, बट organizational and professional integrity means once you are becoming part of organization, the world is not knowing when you are sitting as a lawyer. They are not expecting you to become a normal citizen. You are expecting as a lawyer. So at that point of time, defense lawyer has to defend the criminal, okay, or the one who is involved or committed the crime. So that is called as organizational and professional integrity. It means, right, organizational integrity. This involves upholding the professional and organizational values. This involves upholding professional and organizational values as long as person is part of particular profession and organization. As long as person is a part or is continue to hold the position in organization and profession. अरे स्पेसिफिक वर्ड क्यों आने चाहिए? आपको समझ में आ रहा है तो लिखते जाओ ना खुद से थोड़ा सा. यहाँ पे ये नहीं है कि गंगा नदी मतलब गोमती से नहीं जाएगी तो घाघर से जाएगी, कहीं से भी जा सकती है वो यहाँ पे, ठीक है. अंडरस्टैंड द स्पिरिट. ये तो डिक्टेशन तो देना ही नहीं चाहिए, खाली आपको समझना चाहिए. जो रहता है ना कि लिखते हो नहीं लिखते हो खुद से, रनिंग नोट्स बोलते हैं कुछ. ये तो किंडरगार्टन वाला क्लास हो गया हर एक. एनीवेज, सो द पॉइंट इज, रिमेंबर दिस, organizational integrity is once you become a part of organization and profession, you are expected to uphold those principles. Again, it does not mean that if organization itself involved in the unethical activities for which it is not known, so obviously you have to, yes, you whistleblow or you can uphold the values. Okay, contract में ये कभी नहीं लिखा होता है कि organization is going to do the yes fraud and you continue to remain silent. ये किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में नहीं लिखा होगा. ओके, क्या लिखा होगा? जैसे आप मेडिकल में हो तो being compassionate with respect to the patient, okay, being empathetic with respect to people, etc., etc. So some sort of code of conducts and code of ethics are there for each organization, and you are expected to uphold those values. Okay, that is a organizational integrity. So this all sort of different sort of integrity. Why I believe that this classification is not so correct. You can pick up any value and say that integrity with respect to this, integrity with respect to that, any kind of value you can pick up. समझ में आ रहा है? The whole idea is you follow the things at individual level and you follow the things with respect to different context. Okay, so what he has said, let me come to this point. He said that maintaining the honesty consistently in all the times. समझ में आया अभी? Honesty is being truthful, but being truthful in all situation is integrity. And being truthful within oneself, what you believe in your head, that you should follow. Is it fine? So that's the first value, that is honesty and integrity. Now comes to the second value, that is impartiality. Impartiality. Impartiality oblique करके लिखो, objectivity, non-partisanship. Impartiality oblique objectivity oblique non-partisan. Non-partisan समझ में आता है? partiality नहीं करनी है. Okay, partial. You become a partial with respect to someone, then it is a not ethical value. You become a partial, then you become a partial with respect to your subjective consideration, your family members, friends, etc., etc. So non-partisanship is, okay, let me explain now. And political neutrality also, that's a subset. I'll take it separately. First, let's understand what is impartiality in this. Yes, right, straightforward. Civil servant should take the decision. Civil servant should take the decisions, or perform his duty, perform his duties and tasks solely based on, solely means only, solely based on merit or objective criteria, solely based on merit or objective criteria, solely based on merit and objective criteria. And he should not do so, and he should not do so in order to, he should not do so in order to favor or disfavor, favor or disfavor anyone based on narrow criterias, parochial criteria or narrow criterias such as caste, religion, race, family consideration, friends, जो भी है. You should not do so based on caste, religion, race, okay, family consideration. So it means that whenever you are taking the decision, it should be an impartial decision. Impartiality will be maintained when you follow the merit and objective criteria, and the impartiality will be hampered if you think कि ये कौन से बिरादरी का है, इसकी कास्ट क्या है, इसका सरनेम क्या है. Okay, in Western society nobody asks you a title, सरनेम कोई नहीं पूछता है. यहाँ पे पहले ही राहुल बोले तो पहले क्या है, शर्मा है, गर्मा है, क्या है, मतलब मिश्रा है, जैसे ही पता चल जाएगा हाँ अपनी बिरादरी का है. या फिर दूसरा भी कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी, नहीं ये है, इसकी इसी लोगों ने मुझे बहुत सताया था लाइफ लॉन्ग, नाउ लेट मी टेक अ रिवेंज ऑफ इट. ओके, so this is a parochial bias that comes in when you take the decision. So impartiality is completely taking an objective and merit criteria and without considering parochial or narrow criteria such as caste, religion, culture, region, or any kind of parochial criteria, that family consideration. So what it will result into the what is we call generally favoritism, nepotism, if you are following certain favoritism, like crony capitalism. So if you are not impartial. Yes, you want to ask something, you are getting impatient. शाहरुख खान के केस में क्या हुआ था? अमेरिका में नहीं जाने दिए थे, चेकिंग हुई थी. So okay, let me come to that. That is Islamophobia. We can say that because he was a Khan, so he has to say that I am a Khan, I am not terrorist. Okay, so that's after 9/11. There is a peculiar. This is also attitude formation का वो है. Attitude formation. The American society or particularly the immigration officers. Okay, whenever they take the surname of Muslim population. Okay, जैसे खान है, ये है, वो है. Okay, खान और हाँ मतलब जो भी है. तो उनको जो रहता है कि थोड़ा सा और अच्छे से चेक किया जाए, तो उनको ऐसे रोका गया था, ऐसे नहीं कि उनको छोड़ा नहीं गया था. इंटरोगेशन, यस ऑब्वियसली. सो इफ यू आर खान, सो आर यू अ खान, मतलब सेन खान, और या फिर आप कहें उसमें तो इंडोक्ट्रिनेटेड खान तो नहीं हो. सो दैट्स द पॉइंट. तो यहाँ पे इम्पार्शलिटी नहीं है, यहाँ पे इनफैक्ट दे आर फॉलोइंग द इम्पार्शलिटी, बट देयर इज अ लिटिल बिट मोर कॉशियस एटीट्यूड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस थिंग. इनफैक्ट सिंस यू हैव सेड one of the Shah Rukh Khan, what he has said, that whenever there is a stardom, I feel that I become a stardom enter in me, I make a trip to US so that I get grounded. I am not a star, because immigration officers in USA will take you on a ground and make you believe that you are a mango people. Okay, so that's the thing. So anyways, so that's about the integrity. Have you understood? There is nothing like much to discuss here. Now here, when we say about integrity, it's the same as objectivity. It is same as non-partisanship. Now with respect to this, we have to see one thing, that is political neutrality also. So write separately. This is a subset of impartiality. इसी के अंदर लिख लो, title दे दो, political neutrality. Political neutrality. Now political neutrality, you can write civil servant should take the decisions. Civil servant should take decisions and follow his duties, should take the decisions or follow his duties without favor or disfavor, without favor or disfavor towards any political party, without favor or disfavor towards any political party. He is not expected and he is not expected to bring his political ideology. He is not expected to bring his political ideology while making any decision, Okay, so he is expected to be a politically neutral. That is called political neutrality. Can you compare here with the why we are thinking within the subset of impartiality? Why it is impartiality? Yes, this is mere, see, the impartiality is maintaining the objectivity. So here simply we are saying maintaining the objectivity with respect to political parties. Objectivity can be hampered by various ways. You take your caste preference, religious preference, political preference, or any family preference, any kind of preference. So here one of the preference that has to be avoided is your political inclination. So that is called political neutrality. So it is, when we say about impartiality, it actually gives the signal for political neutrality also. But there is a separate emphasis given on the political neutrality for the simple reason, on an everyday basis, there is a direct interface with respect to the political class, and he is expected to be political neutral. Second thing is, 5 years down the line, the government change, okay? And that's bureaucrats are known as permanent executives. So government will change, like Congress, BJP, AP, whatever the regional political parties. So you are expected to being a neutral in a sense that whatever the recommendations that you want to make, those recommendations should be based upon facts and figures, okay? In a given situation, advantages and disadvantages, facts and figures, objectivity, rules, rather than any preference for political party. This particular government is there, so you have a preference, so you manipulate facts and figures and give such, so that in the eyes of public that party will be good. Or it's a contrary also. When you are disfavoring any political party, you give a contrary opinion so that in the eyes of public there will not be a good. So good and bad is not in consideration for you. Political executives are responsible for their decision. What you are supposed to give is a rational decision based upon objective criteria. So that's about political neutrality. I hope the point is clear, okay? So this is again a very important value, right? That significance of impartiality, political neutrality. Significance oblique utility. Significance oblique utility of utility, why we follow, okay? Utility of these values, okay, that is political neutrality, or for that matter, impartiality. Now, in fact, what I'm going to make you write is applicable in any answer, okay? Why there is so much of thrust of his impartiality, and why we expect that civil servant should like behave in a more moral, ethical manner and impartial manner. A, that they hold the power, okay? I will make you write. First, concentrate. A, that they hold the power. And when you hold the power, when you take the decision, now the decision is not applied to your family. When you take a decision in family, it might affect your 4 or 5 people to which you can take a responsibility. But here your decision is going to hamper the larger section of society. It has a larger ramification. So if you use the power in your own interest, or if you use the power in order to favor XYZ, it is going to affect the larger society's interest. So therefore you should be impartial. Second is, you hold the public purse. Public are paying the taxes. So you are not a owner of those money, okay? You are just a trustee, or you are just a holder, redistributor of it. So while redistribution, you need to expect that the money should be used for the productive purposes, and the decision should be based upon the impartial criteria for which the decision has to be taken. So therefore you are expected. So your decision has a larger ramification, and you need to maintain the integrity at your individual level. Also, if you take any wrong decision, it not only affects your integrity, but it affects the credibility of the organization. And therefore there will be a more gap in between public and governance, that the governance is corrupt, etc., etc. So in all this context, we believe that civil servants requires to follow the impartiality. So this point can be applied to any values also. समझ में आ रहा है क्यों? Why there is integrity, why there is impartiality, why there is so much of trust that civil servant should follow all these values, because they are the important players in a democracy. That's the point. Okay, so write some points. Significance of impartiality and this thing. Okay, civil servant holds the public power. Civil servant holds the public power. They also hold the public purse. Public purse, that is finances, bracket mein likho finances. They hold the public purse, and their decisions have wider ramifications. Their decisions have wider ramifications. Ramifications is consequence लिखो, consequence effects जो भी लिखना है. Their decisions have wider impact, wider ramifications on the society. In this context, they are expected to use the power in a legitimate manner. They are expected to use the power in a legitimate manner for the larger public interest, comma, they are expected to take objective decision so that country's resources or public resources, whichever way word is, resources are used for the productive purposes, are utilized or used for the productive purpose. That is again in the larger public interest. Okay, so what we are trying to make, they have the power, they have the purse, and their decisions are very important because it does not affect them as a person, but it affects the wider society. Therefore, there is a lot of responsibility. So this paragraph is very important to understand the whole ethos of bureaucracy, that why we are so much talking about ethics for bureaucrats. Okay, समझ में आया? So सिग्निफिकेंस इसमें इसलिए लिखा था इम्पार्शलिटी की जगह, बट रिमेंबर दिस कैन बी यूज अक्रॉस. अगर कोई बोलता है वाई इंटीग्रिटी इज इंपॉर्टेंट, देयर इज नॉट डिफरेंट आंसर. वाई ट्रांसपेरेंसी इज इंपॉर्टेंट, वाई अकाउंटेबिलिटी इज इंपॉर्टेंट, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. ओके, सो दैट्स अबाउट द impartiality, political neutrality, etc., etc. Okay, now, yes, next, that is transparency. Transparency. Transparency, literal meaning of transparency is openness. Literal meaning of transparency is openness. Openness. Okay. Now, right continuation. बहुत ज़्यादा definition नहीं है इसकी. Civil servant is expected to. Civil servant is expected to. Is expected to act in an open manner. Civil servant is expected to act in an open or a transparent manner while discharging his public duties. While discharging his public duties. He is expected to keep all the public information. Is expected to keep all the information in a public domain, unless required otherwise. He is expected to keep the information of his action in a public domain unless required otherwise. Unless required otherwise इसलिए है कि कुछ एक चीज़ें रहेगी, secrecy रहेगी. Okay, we have discussed already something about it. Okay, see the transparency, we are going to revisit this part when we'll discuss the probity in governance. Probity in governance कहाँ पे है? जो application part है बाद में. तो transparency and accountability we are going to see how the transparency is maintained in India is through the RTI Act. So we will have a discussion much later. But here the transparency is seen from point of view of public civil servant. What is he is expected to do? He is expected to follow. He is not expected to follow the core decisions, okay, in opacity, so as to favor and disfavor. So more and more the transparency, more will be the integrity, more will be the ethical judgment. If there is no transparency, so what can happen behind the curtain, public will not get to know about it. And if the things are happening behind the curtain, so obviously there is a much chance for the corruption. Okay, so transparency will bring that public can now have an access to information, that how the decision is taken, why the decision is taken, and therefore it reduces the scope for corruption. Okay, RTI Act में special obligation है that you need to be remain transparent. Next is accountability. Accountability. What is accountability? Yes, answerable, right? The literal meaning of accountability. The literal meaning of accountability is answerability. Literal meaning of accountability is answerability. Right? Civil servant. Civil servant is answerable. Civil servant is answerable for his act of omission and commission. Civil servant is answerable for his act of omission and commission. Omission and commission. What is this omission and commission? What is done and what is not done. Okay, omission मतलब अगर आप यस ऑफिस नहीं जा रहे हो, घर में सो रहे हो, तो लोग बोलेंगे कि आप काम नहीं क्यों कर रहे हो, यू आर आंसरेबल. अ शो कॉज नोटिस विल बी सेंड टू यू दैट यू आर एंजॉइंग अ लॉट बैक एट होम, सो प्लीज रिमेन आंसरेबल. व्हाई यू हैव नॉट एबल टू मीट द टारगेट्स. So that's an omission. Commission also quite possible that you have crossed your jurisdiction and enter into beyond what is mandated to you. Okay, you are usurping the power of some other authority and trying to use or misuse the power. So in a right way, wrong way, if you are inactive, then also you are answerable, that is omission. Commission, if you have done something wrong, that's also you are answerable. Okay, so that's answerability. Again, it's not just a question and answer. Okay, we are going to see in detail. Yes, what is beyond this? केवल answerability नहीं रहेगी तो क्या रहेगा फिर? What is an accountability? How does the accountability is ensured? Yes, punishment is the most important part. If your answer is not satisfactory, it means that if you are done certain mistakes, it has to be accompanied by some sort of punishment. Otherwise, only mere answering and then no action on it. If the answer is you have done something wrong, or you have failed to carry out your duties in a situation where you are expected to work in a public interest. So we are going to discuss that what are the different institutions of accountability, how accountability is ensured, how accountability also help in reduction of corruption, because before taking the decision, now he has to think 10 times, because tomorrow I am accountable for my decision. RTI not only maintain the transparency, that's also a tool of accountability. How? Because you will, through RTI, you will ask the question, they are accountable. And once the RTI, it will empower the people. Okay, this much of fund has been allocated and only this much is given. What you have done with the rest of the fund? Or whatever the decision if you are taken, XYZ contract allocate karna tha, apne contract allocate kiya on your caste basis, parochial basis, family basis, nepotism. So you are accountable. How can you allocate the contract when the merit was in favor of the other person? Okay, so you are answerable, and obviously the institutions of accountability, India, one of the feature of accountability is in India we have a weak accountability. So bureaucrats are not punished, okay, and therefore there is no deterrence for them not to be corrupt. Okay, so institutions of accountability are very weak in India, and therefore we see that there is no deterrence on part of civil servants, and they continue to involved in the corrupt activities. In fact, okay, let's discuss it later, because this is also a topic we have to discuss in probity in governance. At this point of time, a civil servant should make himself available for the scrutiny. Okay, while taking the decision, he should also be answerable and accountable. Now the next, right, in fact, next, empathy and compassion, dedication to public service. Okay, right, dedication to public service. Dedication to public service. So this dedication to public service, in fact, this is also a core or generic value. Most fundamental, you can say that, because once you join the organization, you have to go for the public service. See, what does it mean? If this is a government organization and if this is a private organization, the most sought after value for the private is profit orientation. Goal of them is profit or revenue generation. Here the goal is welfare or social service, public service orientation. Now the kind of people you need is who can increase the revenue of your organization. Here what is required is public service as a value. So you being a part of government or public organization, okay, welfare is more important value, and therefore you are expected to have this public service orientation. Now why it is written as dedication to public service? There is a reason for it also. When we say about public service, once you become an IAS, IPS, or all this, any kind of an office that you choose, the very function of your job is public service. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि आप मतलब कुछ going out of the way and then you are serving. The very nature of your job is public service, for which you are being paid salary and etc. etc. All those perks and pay is given for your public service. So by virtue of merely you getting involved into a structure or a job, is a public service oriented. Dedication to public service, why there is emphasis? बाकी सब में लिखा है dedication to transparency, dedication, ऐसे नहीं लिखा है. इसमें क्यों लिखा होगा? What's the reason must be there? enjoy more perks. Okay. So dedication क्या है? Dedication with respect to perks. हाँ तो आपने फिर पहले क्यों ऐसे गड़बड़ कर दी? हाँ, that's second is a rather good explanation. But initially you said that he should be dedicated towards the perks for which he should always look for. Yes, that's the reality also. But the point is, here we are talking. That's why it is written dedication. Okay. You should not be, let's say like, red bacon car is there, that's why, okay, I want that red bacon car, so that's why I want to go for the civil services. I have a Mercedes, I have BMW, but there is no red bacon. When red bacon comes, then all Mercedes are fika, okay, because so many people comes and then guards comes and etc, etc. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we are going to come to more point here. Yes? आगे ओके हम बोल रहे हैं कि आपका जॉब ही लॉ रेगुलेशन और स्ट्रक्चर ऐसे बनाए गए कि आप सब पब्लिक सर्विस ही करोगे, आपका प्राइवेट सर्विस है ही नहीं है, पब्लिक सर्विस ही है, दुकान ही उसका है, पब्लिक के लिए. नाउ द पॉइंट इज डेडिकेशन. Yes, very good. That is a self-motivation. See, the thing is that by virtue of very nature of your job, you are doing it. That should not be the only consideration for you to work. There has to be inner passion. There has to be inner motivation. Ki irrespective of external, you are not working because of privileges, peace, because of the red bacon car, because of this thing. This will come along with you, but there has to be certain inner motivation for you to work in the interest of public. So there has to be a superimposition of what the government also want and what we actually want at your individual level. This is all the more significant because public service is not what we generally think, like रेड बेकन कार है लेकिन आप जब छत्तीसगढ़ में हो, नागालैंड में हो, इधर उधर हो. So at that point of time, what this PS and perks generally will not, you will find that's a very hostile situation. Okay, in hostile situation there is no electricity for 16 hours. There are no roads. Okay, to go into the rural areas. Okay, forget about the split AC and this thing. Fan is not functioning. Okay, आपके जो WhatsApp के notification नहीं आएंगे, Messenger के notification, आप बोलोगे कि नहीं वही जॉब ठीक था यार. Thank God it's Friday. TJIF culture. MNC में ठीक था. Okay, उधर ही थोड़ा सा enjoy करता था. यहाँ पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है. Okay, so the dedication to public service in such all hostility also, adversity also, then there is no incentive now. In Chhattisgarh and Nagaland, these areas, you will not have that perks and this thing. That point of time also, if you should not feel like quitting and serving, that point of time, what component will be in place is your dedication. If you are really dedicated, so obviously you will continue to withstand the adversities and hostilities. Otherwise, resignation. Let's come to the Chandigarh and Delhi. Okay, that's far better than the Chhattisgarh. Okay, Chandigarh is far better. So that's why dedication is written, so that there is a inner motivation for the service. In fact, red bacon car वहाँ पे dangerous है, बताया था आपको. Okay, कि nobody prepares because that's the one which is the first casualty. नक्सलाइट देखेंगे तो पहले देखेंगे red bacon car है, हाँ इसको भी मार गिराओ. ठीक है, सिविलियन गाड़ियाँ जाती है तो आराम से जाती है. सो पीपल प्रेफर कि रेड बेकन नहीं है, हमें एम्बेसडर नहीं चाहिए, हमें जिप्सी दे दो, ये दे दो, मतलब सिंपल व्हीकल में ट्रैवल करते हैं. लैंड माइन्स आर देयर इज लॉट ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी. इट रिक्वायर्स अ करेज ऑल्सो. अपार्ट फ्रॉम डेडिकेशन फॉर पब्लिक सर्विस, इट रिक्वायर्स अ इमेंस करेज बिकॉज यू नेवर नो फ्रॉम योर ऑफिस यू विल रीच टू योर होम और नॉट. ओके, थ्रेटन नहीं कर रहा हूँ, डिस्करेज नहीं कर रहा हूँ. व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड मोर दैट आई एम टेलिंग यू. ओके, दंतेवाड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में देखो आप जाके, आपको गेस्ट के लिए भी बुलाते हैं कोई तो डर लगता है कि रांची से जाए कि रायपुर से जाए कि कहाँ से जाए, क्योंकि कौन से एरिया से नक्सलाइट अफेक्टेड नहीं लगेगा. ओके, एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम लैंड माइन्स कैन ब्लास्ट एंड द थिंग्स विल बी लाइक हाँ पब्लिक सर्विस यू विल बी. सो डेडिकेशन रिक्वायर्स दैट ऑल सच थिंग्स शुड बी देयर. सो राइट समथिंग अबाउट, first write public service as a value and then we'll write dedication. Public service as a value. Public service as a value. civil servant is expected to work in a public interest, he is not expected to bring personal interest, while discharging his public duties. Now here personal interest can be a personal financial interest, personal interest with related to your narrow interest of promotion and etc. Personal interest, favor to family members. Okay, यहाँ पे personal मतलब केवल personal आप नहीं हो, family भी personally है. Okay, नहीं, this was not a self, it was for the others. Okay, family comes in others. No, family does not come in others. All your near and dear ones, your family, etc., is a self. So self should be out of the purview while taking the decision, and public should be the primary thing. All right, next paragraph. Dedication to public service involves the inner motivation, or the self motivation. In bracket passion लिखो. Again, do not use this word. Okay, both informal word है passion. Okay, there is a क्या लिखा है? Dedication to public service involves the inner motivation or self motivation to work in a public interest, to work in a larger public interest, This inner motivation particularly helps in working in difficult circumstances, and withstanding the adversities, or adverse situation. Adversities. So remember what I have told. Okay. Now this adversity is not just about Nakshal affected and this what I have spoken. The adversity can be there is a political pressure. Okay. Now political pressure is there to act in a illegal manner in order to favor a political class. So dedication to public service, you know that this is a narrow consideration in order to benefit one political party or one politician. Dedication to public service will help that no interest other than the public interest should come in picture, and dedication will help you in withstanding this political pressure, so that you work. Okay, there is a motivation for you, therefore you work in the. So if you are very low on the self-motivation quotient, okay, you will be swayed away, because then you think that it's very, very difficult to manage for your own self when there is a political pressure. There can be different pressure. It's not just political pressure. It can be situation, difficult areas, that's a physical hostility, political pressure. It can be a goons, local goons, okay, that is called unscrupulous elements in society. So for example, you are taking an action against the sand mafia, okay, तुरंत ही शाम को फोन आ जाता है. Okay, young blood हो तो पता है, मतलब warm blooded animals humans are, but you should be, there will be a cold blooded murder. Okay, so you please mind, you should not like explicitly tell us that you are warm blooded. So the thing in such situation, that's a dedication to public service will only come into picture. Okay, think of this lady called क्या नाम है इनका, Durga Shakti Nagpal. Okay, so a person of a valor and courage, she has like done a lot of good job in Uttar Pradesh, okay, against the sand mafia. हाँ, उनको रिमूव भी यादव गवर्नमेंट ने रिमूव किया. SDM है शायद, okay, Superintendent Sub District Magistrate. That is Durga Shakti Nagpal. Okay, so these are the cases where we see that there is a dedication to public service. Okay, next we can write, 2, 3 values, we have to do it together. Empathy, compassion, that's what we are discussing. We are going to do it together, so write this way. Apathy, sympathy, empathy, compassion. Apathy, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. I think somebody has asked this question in the first or second class. Huh? So we'll discuss what is the difference in between different aspects. Obviously, it's apathy. We need not have to show. We have been criticized for this. Okay, so this is what we have to do. So first, write what is an apathy. That is bureaucratic apathy. Generally, we term. Okay, what is apathy? Indifference or insensitivity. Attitude of insensitivity. Indifference, insensitivity, and indifference. Indifference towards others, towards problems of others, particularly towards the weaker section, downtrodden, weaker section, okay, unprivileged ones. Attitude of insensitivity and indifference, that's a key word here. Attitude of insensitivity and indifference towards the others' problems, particularly towards the weaker section of society. We have to change from bureaucratic apathy to this point. Okay, so yes, see, one thread which is common to all is being sensitive towards others' problem, being sensitive and being more considerate, being more sensitive and considerate. So, with respect to others' problem. But what's the difference? Yes. पहले sympathy और empathy में क्या difference and how they are different from the compassion? हाँ. Okay. Okay, situation. Compassion? Kind, being kind to others. Okay. Empathy. And sympathy is not understanding. So sympathy. Okay, taras khana. Okay, yes, there is a sense of pityness in sympathy. And what's compassion then? What's compassion? Or if empathy is not kind. Okay. In case of sympathy, I agree. Compassion में क्या होता है फिर? How does the compassion different from empathy? Are you a compassionate person? Yes. Empathy में you should suffer. और sympathy में? Sympathy में act करते हैं नहीं. Okay, let's discuss. See, first we will study the difference in between these two, then we'll come to compassion. See, sensitivity is there that you are not apathetic anymore. But in case of sympathy, okay, you think that something has wrong happened to someone and you feel sorry for someone. Okay, from a distance you say that these days, like, I feel solidarity with you, your time will go by, God bless you, this situation is of a short time, okay, this will go by, okay. So that's a sympathy from a distance. In empathy, you put yourselves into the shoes of others and try to understand what the other person is exactly going through, okay. Whereas in compassion, when you put yourselves into the shoes of others, you have understood what the other person is exactly going through. After understanding, you feel so restless that you take certain action in order to make some difference to the person. Okay, so here it is a empathy plus action. In between the sympathy and empathy, okay, sympathy, there is a sense of pityness. Pityness matlab taras khana. That's why the slogan goes like this: don't sympathize, empathize. Okay, so because there is a sense of pittiness. That's why we haven't taken in the list. Is there list में sympathy लिया है क्या? Sympathy में नहीं लिया है क्योंकि sympathy is more of a showing a pittiness towards someone. But in case of empathy and compassion, it's a sense of obligation. You have to do. मतलब there is nothing something like you take that I have done something for someone. Okay, in case of sympathy, you are in superior position and you are saying ki taras khake we are helping you. It's sense that you are making the other person, you are a weak, but we show a pity for you. So that's the thing in case of sympathy. So we will not going to use the word sympathy. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि sympathy खराब है एकदम से, but the more yes, obligation will be empathy. So write some points here. Sympathy, obviously there is nothing to be written, like you have to be sensitive towards the problems of others, and there is a sense of pittiness for the others. There is a sense of pittiness, feeling pity for someone. There is a sense of pittiness or feeling pity for someone. For someone. Okay, here. Sense of pittiness. Now here empathy लिखो क्योंकि ये हमें लिखना है empathy. Empathy involves putting oneself into the shoes sandals मत लिखिए वो बहुत urban term है. Okay, putting oneself into the position of others, putting oneself into the other's position and trying to understand what the other person is exactly going through, and trying to understand what the other person is exactly going through. That is empathizing with someone. Empathizing with someone involves, yes, putting oneself into the other's position and understanding what the other person is exactly going through. Now in compassion, पहले तो ये लिखो, compassion involves empathy plus action. Okay, there is a component. There is an action component. हाँ, that will be a compassionate. नहीं, केवल वो नहीं है, वो तो attitudinal change करने की बात है. Like if you are seeing the slum areas में आप देख रहे हो. So see, sympathy involves sitting in an AC and saying that slum is very bad, poor, the people do not have the water, electricity, sanitation. Had I been this, had I been that, I would have changed the equation. I feel a sense of witness. Maybe the government will come, take certain decision. Okay, this time will go by. But for the time being, I show solidarity with them. That's a sympathy. Empathy, you put yourselves into their positions, like visit a slum and try and understand what they are actually going through. That is empathizing with someone by seeing what is happening. Compassion involves, then you feel restless and you take certain action. Take certain action, certain sort of a scheme for them, housing scheme, some sanitation facilities, electricity facilities, etc., etc. That's a compassion. Have you understood? Okay. So that's a sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Okay. Arms. ALMS. Okay. That's see, the thing is that how is your perspective that became an important there. अगर आप तरस खा के वो दे रहे हो तो वो, that's a different thing. Okay, so there is something, but here we are expected to, like when you understand, empathize with them, you will not simply, like you know that as some sort of a coin will not make a difference to them. So you will put them into the NGOs, or you will take a responsibility, etc., etc. Some sort of a more yes, action which makes a difference to their lives you will take. So that becomes a more important. Empathy, realistic ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. All three are there, but the thing is, component is your perspective is getting different and more intensity and more involvement. All can happen in reality depending upon how much you are involved, how much intervention you are making in order to change their situation. That's the thing. Okay, sympathy we are not going to use because there is a sense of pittiness. Therefore, empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion, you can use them interchangeably also. Okay, there is no problem with respect to that. Okay, but if the question comes specifically, what do you understand by empathy and compassion and how they are differentiated from each other, then you are expected to bring the subtle differences also. Okay, at any point, because when it is empathy, naturally it will be followed by some action, or when you are compassionate, it is already involved, that is a empathy. Okay, so that's about that bureaucratic apathy should be get converted into empathy and compassion, particularly towards the weaker section of the society. In fact, that is how the bureaucratic attitude becomes more democratic attitude, when you bring more flexibility, etc. So that's about the aspect of compassion. Next is some more. कौन सा बाकी रह गया? एक दो लिख लेते हैं. टॉलरेंस कल करना है क्या करना है? बहुत जल्दी असर्टिव रिस्पॉन्स रहता है. टॉलरेंस है, करेज है, फिर नोलन कमिटीज की डेफिनेशन है, फिर पेट्रियोटिज्म है. आपने लिखे नहीं है क्या वैल्यूज? हाँ, अरे हम जितना सिखा रहे हैं उतना लिख लो, मतलब ऐसे मत कर. लिख रहे हैं आप? नो, यू सेड दैट ओनली वन थिंग इज रिमेनिंग. मिडल में लिख लिया आपने. ठीक है, ओके, विल डिस्कस टुमारो. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच.